The problems related to the trade agreement between Indonesia and European Free Trade Associations are increasingly pointing to the bright spot after the Swiss referendum shows positive results for Indonesia to be able to continue to carry out trading activities with Efta, especially palm commodity exports. And before we look at the data related to the Indonesian palm oil industry, let's first take a look at the information about Indonesia and Efta Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement in the graphic. Through your screen, we can see who are the members for the Efta. We can see there is Switzerland, Norway, Iceland, Liechtenstein. And what about the partnership instead? Indonesia to get a tariff eliminations of 7,042 tariff posts from Switzerland and Liechtenstein. And the second one is that 6,000 tariff posts from Norway. And the last one is that 8,100 tariff from Iceland. When we talk about the Indonesian exports to Efta in 2020, we can see that the total exports is nearly 3.4 billion US dollar and the total trade surplus is 1.6 billion US dollar. So under the free trade agreement, both parties would gradually reduce or abolish import duties on industrial products. For palm oil, Switzerland will reduce tariffs by about 20% to 40% for up to 12,500 tons per year, but only if sustainability standards are met. And of course, this is a positive sentiment for Indonesia's palm oil industry, but how much is the capacity of the Indonesian palm oil industry? So the data is in the next graphic. We can see the palm oil productions and also consumptions in Indonesia through your screen. First thing first, we can see the separations from January 2020 to December 2020. From the range here, we can see the volatility, but the highest number goes in September 2020, whereas the production nearly hit 5.2 million of tons, followed by October 2020 in the same amount. But when we talk about the consumptions is lower than the production. So this is a good spot for Indonesia to export to the other country. And then, yes, the Indonesian Palm Oil Associations, or GAPKI, stated that this trade agreement is a mutually beneficial solution for palm oil industry for Indonesia, Switzerland, and the European Free Trade Agreement countries. As we know, Indonesia is the largest producer of palm oil, which is used in cosmetics, food products, and biofuels. In the meantime, regarding the palm oil production, one thing that cannot be separated is the land expansion. However, palm oil expansion often bring various problems ranging from deforestation, triggering agrarian conflicts, causing fires to threatening customary territories and ecosystems. The Madani Sustainable Foundation for Palm Oil Management mentioned that there are a number of ways that can be taken to optimize the yield of oil palm plantations without land expansion, one of which by improving the management and administrations of the oil palm plantation permit so that the potential for non-tax revenue from permits for business use rights of the oil palm can be maximized, where, for example, the potential revenue from the oil palm land in Riau reached 191 billion rupiah, while in West Kalimantan it reached around 660 billion rupiah. And we know that palm oil producing regions are not only those two provinces. So from production side, let's move on into the Indonesia's palm oil export data on the next graphic. We can see how much Indonesia can export palm oil in 2020 and the year before, which is 2019. First of all, we can see the crude palm oil in 2020, Indonesia managed to export about 7.2 million of tons, while the processed CPO in 2020, we can see that Indonesia is capable to do export by 21.1 million tons. And then we got all the data in here regarding the crude palm oil, processed CPO, crude kernel oil, biodiesel, and oleochemical. Because we can see that palm oil export in Indonesia is very rich of varieties. And the palm oil producing countries, including Indonesia, have long faced black oil campaigns, especially by European countries. And therefore, the government said it would change its strategy against the black campaign of the palm oil in the global market, especially by European Union countries. This strategy is described the shortcomings of other vegetable oils. And meanwhile, not only relying on the exports, one important factor in the resilience of the growth of the palm oil sector in Indonesia is the use of renewable energy programs through the mandatory palm-based biodiesel, where after successfully running the mandatory 20% biodiesel program from 2016 to 2019, the government continues with the mandatory program of B30 since January 2020, which increases the absorption of capacity in the domestic market, while at the same time encouraging stability of palm oil prices. And given the existing of the conditions, how is the Indonesia's projections on a palm oil industry performance in 2021? So let's take a look into the projections on the next graphic. Through the next graphic, we can see the optimism, or we can say the projections of Indonesia's palm oil industry in 2021, which is divided into its derivative, which is CPO, processed CPO, and also oleochemistry. But overall, we can say that Indonesia is really optimistic about gaining 10.2% of the palm oil export, and it's about reach about 37.5 million tons, and it is divided into CPO, processed CPO, and also oleochemistry. And optimism about COVID-19 vaccine, this is the first one, has also spread to the palm oil industry. They believe that distributions of vaccine through various countries will help to restore the economy and demand for crude palm oil this year. However, demand is not expected to immediately recover as before the pandemic, but will move slowly as economic activity recovers in various countries. The Indonesia Palm Oil Associations, or GAPKI, also estimates that many countries will be more open to support their economies so that it will have a positive impact on Indonesia's CPO. And at the same time, GAPKI also say that there were a number of factors that were thought to disrupt the demand for palm oil, and one of which was the re-outbreak of COVID-19 in China and several other countries. Not only that, the transmissions of African swine fever can also disrupt the demand for vegetable oils, including palm oil. And yes, viewers, hopefully in the future, all products from Indonesia, including palm-based products, will still uphold the sustainability aspect so that there will be no more resistance from any party. And stay tuned for market headlines because we will be right back after this quick break.